Dear students, today under the subject of business environment, topic we are going to study is social injustice. As you understand that social injustice is a state of a society where society fails to create a milieu which provides equality, freedom and right opportunities to individual or the section of society to get the life they desire. If you look at the definition of social justice, it is stated as social justice implies several sound and eminently desirable concepts enunciated for the good of society in general and offers equality to every section, especially to the weaker group in the population. It means that social justice is an environment where everybody get the opportunity to do the things which he desires and they are good for the society, and especially the weaker section of society does not feel any kind of problem in achieving the desired objective. Social justice has got a lot of significance by the founder of our nation. In 1950, when India created its own constitution to govern the people, it was defined in the preamble that we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist and democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and a political freedom, which is a preamble of constitution. Here it is very clearly mentioned that justice for the society was a very significant aspect. There are the different parameters which can measure that whether social justice is there in society or there is a state of social injustice. These parameters can change according to economies, the culture, the caste and creed. Most of the popular parameters are as follows: lack of poverty, education, nutrition and health, women and child development, water supply and sanitation, development of social disadvantaged group, electrified households, labor and employment. As you can see, all these parameters have relation with the quality of life index. These parameters states a person who lives in such kind of environment then is living a good life, a life where justice is existing. Please take care that you do not confuse the social justice in the terms of legal justice. As we said, all these parameters have relationship with human development, women development or the development of socially disadvantaged group. If we define the human development, then the definition given by Human Development Report 2011 is: human development is the expansion of people's freedoms and capabilities to lead life that they value and have reason to value. It is about expanding choices. Freedoms and capabilities are more expansive notions than basic needs. Here it says very clearly that the basic need of any human being of shelter, food and clothing are not that significantly expansive in nature as the freedom and the capabilities to lead a valuable life are. So, while studying the social justice, we have to study all those parameters which affects the development of human being. There are the various organization who has done the development program for the human beings, and they have done their different research to study and estimate the human development in the respective geographical areas. Popular human development indexes are Human Development Index by United Nations, Quality of Life Index, Happiness Index and the National Human Development Index. by the Planning Commission of India. In our session, we are going to study Human Development Index by United Nations and National Human Development Index by Planning Commission of India. Let us see Human Development Index by United Nations. As in the diagram you can see, there are the three indicators, which is health, education and living standard constitutes Human Development Index. These three indicators have 4 parameters. For the health, it is life expectancy at birth. Education has 2 bases. First is mean years of schooling, another is expected years of schooling, and for the living standard, it is a gross national income per capita. It was understood that these 3 parameters of health, education and per capita income will determine the standard of living of any individual in the respective country. These parameters got the geometric mean in between 0 to 1, and accordingly the value comes is known as a Human Development Index of that respective country. For the health part, life expectancy starts from the 0 year, it means the time of birth. The minimum value is considered as a 20 years and highest value considered is 84.3 years, which is the highest value so far received from 1980 to 2011 data. In education, for the mean years of schooling is considered for the adult age of 25 years. In a country where all the adults of the schooling or the education in the different institutes, the mean of it will be considered in the mean years of schooling. 13.1 is the highest parameter which has been taken as a goal post for the maximum point, and the 0 year is the minimum point taken for the mean years of schooling. In between, the value comes for the respective country. If you look at the expected years of schooling, it begins from the time of enrollment of any kid into the school. Upper cap for this parameter is 18 years. So, whenever in any of the standard a student take the admission in a school or any other institute, they start taking the counting the age for that part. For that, the value comes between 0 to 18. Geometric mean of both the parameters would be considered as a value for education parameter. Gross national income per capita is always in the purchase power parity terms, which is on the value of $2005. Minimum parameter decided for the gross national income per capita is $100 and highest is $10,721 as a maximum goal post. A country's delivery in between any of the value would be adjusted accordingly, and then the living standard value would be achieved. The mean of all these 3 parameters will give us Human Development Index. As we look at the recent report issued by United Nations on human development, then the index shows Norway as a first country on this index, which got the SDI value of 0.943 and non-income SDI value as 0.975. If we look at the India's colleagues on the South Asian country part, then the Sri Lanka, China and Thailand performed far better than India in SDI ranking, though all 4 countries falls in a median category of Human Development Index. Sri Lanka stands on 97th rank with a 0.698 SDI value and 0.768 non-income SDI value. China stands tall with 101 ranking and SDI value of 0.687, non-income SDI value as a 0.725. Thailand had as SDI ranking was 103 with SDI value of 0.682 and non-income SDI value is 0.714. India stands on 134th rank with SDI value of 0.547 and non-income SDI value of 0.568. If the same country we compare on the different parameters and the performance, then it as follows. Norway performed life expectancy in birth 81.1 year is. Mean year of schooling in Norway is 12.6 years and expected years of schooling is 17.3. Gross national income per capita according to PPP 2005 US dollar was 47,557. Sri Lanka got the life expectancy of 74.9, 8.2 mean years of schooling, 12.7 expected years of schooling, and with the 4,943 GNI per capita. China got 73.5 years as a life expectancy at birth. Minimum years of schooling is 7.5, 11.6 years as expected year of schooling, and 7,476 as a GNI per capita. Thailand got the life expectancy of 74.1 years, mean year of schooling was 6.6 years, and expected years of schooling was 12.3. 7,694 was Thailand's GNI per capita. India stands on 65.4 life expectancy at the time of birth and 4.4 years only for the mean years of schooling. Expected years of schooling in India is 10.3 and GNI per capita according to PPP 2005 US dollar is 3,468 rupees. Though India is not performing as good as it is performing in the economic front in the GDP growth rate, but still SD performance of India is improving in last 3 decades. China leading the chart with the 70 plus growth in percentage terms since last 3 decades. India has achieved almost 60% improvement on Human Development Index. National Human Development Report. This report is designed by the Planning Commission of India with the objective of to find out status of social inclusion and social justice in country and to estimate Human Development Index for each state. EDGE, Human Development Index prepared by United Nations gives the brief for the country only. Planning Commission has developed the report which gives the detailed part of every state and union territory. The National Human Development Report had the focus areas of development of socially disadvantaged group, empowerment of women, health and nutrition, employment and poverty, achievement and challenges in health and education sector, state of housing, electricity and water supply. To achieve the right information regarding the focus areas, Planning Commission decided little bit different parameter and indicators than the indicator decided by United Nations for Human Development Index. If we compare both the reports on the indicator basis, then we come to know that United Nations Development Indicator had life expectancy at birth, but in India we decided life expectancy at the age of 1 year along with the child mortality rate was adjusted to understand the health part of the country. Adult literacy rate combined with enrollment ratio as a mean schooling years and expected schooling years in United National Development Program, Indian government decided a literacy rate at 7 plus year and intensity of formal education, so that we can decide that how we are performing on education sector. United Nations decided real GDP per capita in the purchase power parity terms, but the government of India, to find out the wealth standard and the living standard of the countrymen, they changed the parameter to per capita real consumption expenditure adjusted for the inequality and gender inequality index. Here we have taken the consumption of the calorie for the urban person and for the rural person respectively, and the women empowerment program and the performance in that. Accordingly, we have decided health parameter of our country. If we look at the national SDI report of last year 2011, then we come to know that top 5 states in these parameters are Kerala, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Goa and Punjab. Kerala reported as 0.790 Human Development Index in 2007 and it got the rank first. Delhi on the 0.750 is on the second rank, which was initially on the first rank. Himachal Pradesh stands with the 0.652 Human Development Index on 2007-8 and the rank of third. Goa with the 0.617 Human Development Index stands fourth on the ranking part. Punjab with the Human Development Index of 0.605 stands fifth in the all India parameter. If we look at the poor performance in the National Human Development Index, then we see Rajasthan, which has slightly improved its Human Development Index to 0.434 against 0.383 in 99, stands on the 17th rank across country. Madhya Pradesh with a 0.375 Human Development Index in 2008 stands 20th in India. Bihar the 0.367 and Chhattisgarh with the 0.358 Human Development Index 2007 and 8 stands respectively 21 and 23rd states in country. If you see the change in Human Development Index over the period of 1999-2000 to 2008, we see Delhi is the only state which has performed negatively. All other states have improved their Human Development Index. Some of them improved far better than the average of India, like Uttarakhand and Jharkhand, Assam, and some states which were already on a very heavy Human Development Index could not perform that great, like Goa and Haryana. The second topic which we shall discuss is women development. In the annual report 2010-11 by the Ministry of Women and Child Development, as a mission, they have stated that empowered women living with the dignity and contributing as equal partners in development in an environment free from violence and discrimination, and well nurtured children with full opportunities for growth and development in a safe and protective environment. This kind of environment will be known as women friendly environment, an environment where the social justice exists. Absence of these things, where the discrimination or the equal opportunities for the women, then social injustice prevails. There are the different indexes has been made to find out women performance and the women development in a society. One of the known index for it is Gender Inequality Index, which is prepared by United Nations. Parameters selected by United Nations to prepare this report are as follows: maternal mortality ratio, adolescent fertility ratio, women in national parliament in percentage terms, women with at least secondary education in percentage terms, labor force participant ratio, and reproductive health. As we can see, these parameters covers health, administrative skills, administrative power in women hand, education and wealth part of women. Combined of this will give us an index of the women performance. Again, this index having the value in between 0 to 1, higher the value better for the nation for the women empowerment. If you look at the India's performance in the Gender Inequality Index since 1997 to 2011, we have constantly improved our position. We had an index of 0.525 in 1997, 0.560 in 2000, 0.594 in 2007, 0.617 in 2011. So, we can see India has consistently improved on the Gender Inequality Index, even though we still fall on the median value of Gender Inequality Index. There is a lot more to be done for the women empowerment in our country. If we look at the socially disadvantaged group in a society, then they are as follows: religious minorities, linguistic minorities, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, socially and educationally backward class, the aged and the physically challenged people, street children and orphans. All those people can be called as a dependent, minority or the suppressed section of our society. They are the weaker section of our society, and a society can never be happy till then these sections are not performing well and they are on equal opportunities. Religious minorities can be changed according to state demographies. If you take the example of Muslim community, then the state like Andhra Pradesh and Jammu Kashmir, they are not in minority, but the rest of the state according to demography they could be in minority. Same with the linguistic minorities, the different states and the people who got migration from one state to another state, they become minorities over there. Like North Indian people, if they are moving to the developed states like Maharashtra, then they become minority of linguistic category over there. And if these people feel unsafe, unsecure, they feel that they are not getting the equal opportunities for the business, for the job or for the living life, then there is injustice prevails in society. Scheduled caste and scheduled tribe have been historically weaker section of our society, and government is focused to deliver a lot for them. The aged people and the physically challenged people are always dependent on someone else, and we have to be sincere enough to deliver the task for them. The various efforts the government has taken for the development areas of this disadvantaged group of society. This work has been done on the educational development, economic development and the legal development areas. For the education part, government has done various schemes like scholarships, hostel facility, midday meal, coaching facility, establishment of residential schools, establishment of all type of education institute in tribal areas, textbook in tribal language at primary level. The major problem in the education terms is coming of money, and for that part government has run many schemes for the scholarship of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, linguistic minority, religious minority and the women and poor child and the other backward caste also. These scholarships motivate the student to get the quality education without the fear of paying the fee and affordability. Hostel facility, especially for the women, those cannot have the education in their nearby area, they can stay over there and they can get it. Food was another major concern for the poor people, and midday meal scheme run by the government has been quite successful in increasing the enrollment in the government school and increasing the education standard of our country. Even we shall keep in mind that because of the good performance on the education parameter, India has been successfully able to improve its human development index across the globe. Coaching facility, especially for the exam like Union Public Service exam or the state level public service examination, government provides free coaching facility to them. Even the government has decided to spread the best of the institute in the tribal areas like IIMs and IITs, setting them in the remote part of the country to provide the quality education for all the people who are considered right now as a backward or underdeveloped. To promote and to make education popular in the tribal areas, there the various state government has taken the effort to publish the primary level examination books and textbooks in a tribal language, so that the student can easily understand and be educated. The government has taken effort for the economic development as well, especially for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Following financial corporation have been established. Some of them are like National Scheduled Caste Finance and Development Corporation, National Safai Karamchari Finance and Development Corporation, Scheduled Caste Development Corporation. These financial corporation provides easy loan for the financial activities, for the productive activities and the business activities for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people. from which they can take the easy loan and they can start their own business, which can make them self dependent. So far we have studied the efforts by the government in education indicators and economic indicators. Apart from both the indicators, Government of India had taken certain measures on protective part in the legal framework to help the downtrodden and the weaker section of our society. The first basic action taken by the Government of India was Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955, which gives them every person as authority that nobody can detain his basic civil rights. Another act created by the Government of India is Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Act 1989, which is specifically focused for the offences against Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe communities. In recent time, Government of India has proposed and approved two more rights for the common people of India. These rights are right to education and right to food, which gives the authority to every individual to have a education in a free and compulsory manner and food for every individual. These rights will take care of two important parameters of Human Development Index, which is education and health. This way, certainly the downtrodden and the weaker section of our society will be benefited, and the wealth generated by the huge GDP growth will be distributed evenly in the weaker section of society, where they can feel that this environment is safer for them, that they are getting the equal opportunity for their growth, development, and to fulfill their desires which are good for the society. Dear friends, let us summarize what we have studied in our session today. We have studied concept of social injustice, human development index, national human development index, women development, gender inequality index, socially disadvantaged group development, and efforts by government. We have studied the topics which were required to understand the environment of social justice, the significance given by our constitution on the social justice, and the indexes created by the United Nations and the Planning Commission to measure and estimate human development in our countries and different respective states. On the women development part, we also studied about the gender inequality index, which suggests the status of women in the society. We studied about the socially disadvantaged group, their problems, and the measures taken by the Government of India and the different respective state government to improve the situation and create environment of social justice. Thank you.